Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you're brand new here. Welcome back if you're not. And welcome home if that sits for you. Today I am being pushed to do a reading. And what's coming in is, what is your current karmic cycle? What cycle are you ending? What cycle is coming in for your beginning? I'm going to pull some oracle cards, and then we will draw tarot as we're doing that, because I want to do it in two stages, right? What is leaving and what is coming, and that's what we're doing today. So let's get at it. I have 3 decks. Spears of Heaven is deck number 1. Shadowscapes is deck number 2. The Unfolding Path is deck number 3. Let's look at them if this is helpful for you, right? So here is the artwork. And if this speaks to you, just pay attention, right? Is this your deck today? It might be. It might be. That's deck number 1. And again, we're going to be talking about karmic cycles, what you've been going through and what's coming. This is Shadowscapes, deck number 2. One of my all-time favorites, of course. Here's the artwork. Is that resonating for you? If so, maybe this is your deck today. Now remember, we'll have timestamps below, so you can always go straight to your deck. This is the Unfolding Path. Is this one your deck today? Does this feel like your message today? So beautiful, right? Just love it. All right, so again, there are timestamps down below. If you want to roll right to your message, you go right ahead. Don't feel bad. Guess what? I'll never know. So go right ahead. If you are drawn to 1 or 2 or all 3, remember that these are general readings. So what is going to resonate for you will not necessarily resonate for everyone. That is not only okay, but that is to be expected. So there might be pieces that are messages that speak directly to you or your situation, and then there might be things that don't. And here's my best request. Please don't try to make anything fit that doesn't feel resonant, right? And if anything feels like it's not your message at all, feel free to click out, right? This might not be your message today. You might have to come back to it next month. You never know, right? But that's okay. So just take what resonates for you, leave behind what doesn't, and remember that this is the part where your intuition becomes part of the magic of this messaging. So allow the pile to choose you, right? Don't labor it. If it's beautiful to you, if it speaks to you, it might be your message, and just be okay with that. That's how we roll, right? At any rate, I am grateful that you are here, and I am honored to bring you these messages. So please, if you don't want to be present for the oracle card shuffling, that is absolutely a-okay. If you do like to see if there are any messages that come in there for everyone, I'll see you in the shuffling. If not, you can click the timestamp below and go directly to your pile about your karmic cycle movement, right? So I'm going to leave you with these for just a second or two, and I'll see you in the shuffling. And then we will see you in your message. All right, guys, now we're going to grab some oracle cards to go with our energetic messages, right? And again, today we're looking at karmic cycles, what's coming in for you, what is up next for you, right? And so, remember that when we talk about karma, we're never talking about punishment, right? We're talking about lessons, right? I kind of like to, well, I don't want to say it that way, but I liken it to the way that a parent will always reach down and help their child up, like as if when the child is learning to walk, and the child falls down, the parent will reach out. Well, okay, here's a good message for everyone. Standing firm. I am noble, brave, and strong. So guess what? Here's your message right now. You're moving in your karmic cycles, and you're standing firm, and the universe is saying, hey, way to go. Okay, so let's have this conversation that we were having a second ago. So when we are learning, right, and what is karma, right, but the balancing, right, you can't learn a thing until you experience it, right? It's beautiful to say, oh, I read about that, but that's not where we learn. Where we learn is when we're doing, when we're experiencing, when that lesson hits home for us. And so when we're looking at our karma, right, we're going to choose the way that things best balance out for us. And so, you know, that concept of, oh, karma has big teeth, and oh, I just want to witness that karma coming home to roost. Well, I mean, guess what? Karma doesn't always, first of all, have to be punitive, right? It doesn't have to be a hard lesson. Sometimes karma is beautiful, right? Sometimes karma is a great, beautiful learning lesson. Like, think about every good thing in your life. That's also karma, right? It's not always the challenge side of a lesson that comes in as karma, and it's easy to forget that, right? Just because of the way that we're conditioned. So I just kind of like to bring that up and sometimes say, you know, don't just think of karma as some cruel punishment kind of learning. Karma is all learning. Karma is all balance. And so when we think about karma moving through us, you know, some of us are the action of karma for other people. Some of us are the holder, the placeholder of karma for other people. And if you don't know what I mean by that and you want to talk about it further, we can. But the point here is that sometimes we leave ourselves out as a vehicle for beautiful lessons and beautiful learning and beautiful experiences, which is really all that karma is, right? Karma is how things balance, and for everything that you receive, you know, you've probably given, whether or not that's in this lifetime or a different lifetime, it doesn't really matter. But the bottom line is that karma comes back for you and for everyone else. And so as we move through karmic lesson cycles, right, we want to make sure that we're paying attention, and that we're paying attention in the deepest way, in the widest. Oh, hello, look at that. So here's a nice little message for all of us. This says, challenges, right? Unbearable situations throw you directly into God's arms if you are open. Please take over, divine, and guide the right actions. Please take this burden and show me your will. So the bottom line is that when we give something to the universe, it allows the universe to direct us, right? And what is the universe except for your acceptance of your higher nature? Right? Standing firm. You are noble, brave, and strong. So make sure that you are noble enough and brave enough and strong enough to stand firm in the face of whatever comes in, simply because that is how we interact most passionately through karma, most willingly as karma, and most effectively, right, as we challenge all of those things to come in for us. Okay, so we have these 3 oracle piles. So check in again and see if that works for you. If you're still happy with your pile selection, or if something has shifted as we drew those oracle cards and had some conversations about karma. I am going to leave you quiet for just a moment and let you utilize the magic of your intuition here. Hey guys. Okay, pile number 1. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's look at your oracle cards and then get right into this reading. And remember, we're talking about karma here. We're talking about your karmic cycles, what cycle you've been moving through, and what is coming in for you. So you get following your bliss, my soul sings with joy. This is so lovely. This is about really activating what is bringing you joy, right? So being in touch with that part of your soul that says, yes, 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 this is what I need. This is what I want, right? So I think that's great when we're talking about a karmic cycle. Let's keep going. You have Pisces, sensitized. So this is lovely, right? Pisces is the sign that rules the 12th house, and that also rules karma, right? Karma and past lives and the way that you're coming into your cycle, right? Remembering that when we look at the astrology wheel, we start here and we move all the way through. Pisces is that very last sign before the cycle begins again. So this is about integration, right? This is about the way that we really wrap things up and the way that we prepare for what's coming next. So this is lovely, absolutely lovely. Seek hidden treasure. I like that. That feels like a 12th house theme anyway. So this talks about where are you perhaps not looking at something that's obvious, right? So this is about finding the undercurrents, which is very Piscean as well, very 12th house. So there are always things underneath and behind, right? And when we talk about karma, we really want to talk about the way that things are behind the scenes, right? Because again, we never really understand the complete and total ramifications of karma. When we're looking at a moment in time, we have no 3D awareness of what brought that into fruition and what it will mean, right? We're simply looking at one tiny framework in a whole timeline, in an entire spectrum of a soul's lifetime. And so there's no way that we can judge karma as good or bad, as wrong or right. And I'm putting all those words into quotations because we don't understand it. And it's not our job to understand it, right? It's just our job to show up and respond in the best way possible. Singing with joy, right? Singing with joy. And so here we go. Look, you've got this gorgeous butterfly card, intention. Intention is simply allowing the will and mind to align and move in harmony. May I always focus on the highest. My intention is that all God's wishes come true. For me, my intention is that all God's wishes for me come true, right? What better, beautiful little unfolding here that you're looking for. So this says to me that you guys have really been working on a karmic lesson of finding joy, right? Finding your own direction, finding your best and highest at this point in time of really coming into alignment and learning to listen to your own intuition, to your own intention, right? So that you can be in alignment. So however that worked for you, that has brought you here to this place, right? Where you are now ending a karmic cycle and moving into the next one. So let's get a little bit of tarot and get some insight into what that exactly means for you. Okay, so the 9 of Cups. Dun, dun. The Queen of Cups. Wow. Oh, the Hierophant. Yeah. Okay, so you may have really been learning how to listen to your own inner guidance system, right? You've probably been learning to put that concept of the unexamined life is not worth living into practice. And that's a hard thing to do. I'm going to say that it's really involved some loss for you. The ending of some relationships, whether or not they were family or personal relationships, doesn't really matter, but I believe that they came with a pretty high cost. And what it taught you is how to find your own heart center, and how to really witness your truth as the ultimate truth, I guarantee you that there was a lot of conflict, a lot of loss around this, a lot of real challenge when it came to the way that you had to move through this process. Always coming back to your own beliefs, always coming back to your own thoughts, always coming back to your own heart. And again, I absolutely believe that there was a lot of conflict and struggle around this. I believe that it probably caused a lot of ripples. And when I say ripple, I'm going to call it like bigger than a speed bump, in terms of how that worked for you. And I think that the return has been challenging to see at this point. I think that so far you've only witnessed it in your own being, in your own embodiment. I don't think that this has rippled out into your actual physical life at this point, but I think that that's what's coming. I think that that's your next karmic cycle. So I think that you've been working on detachment and detanglement, right? Really, when it comes to the way that you've been conditioned, the way that you've been, the word that wants to come in is trained, to see a specific set of circumstances, to see the path of your life, to see the way that you are asked to behave or respond or show up. And I believe that that cycle has been a very hard one ending for you. And again, I think it's been, the word that wants to come out here is fraught with pain and drama. And it's really required you to press your own boundaries, right? To press your own boundaries and come back time and time again to your adaptations, your truths, your beliefs. Again, a lot of resistance from the people around you, a lot of people looking at you like, wait, what are you doing? Because right, when we start to change, when we start to embody our own anything, right? When we learn a new truth about ourselves and we change our show up, when we change what we do, when we change our actions and interactions and our communication style and what we're willing to do and give, and how we're willing to show up and put out for other people, those other people quite often say, oh, what's wrong with you, right? What's wrong with you? Well, the fact of the matter is nothing is wrong with you. We are here to grow, shift, learn, and change. And when we deal with resistance, we have two options. We can crumble into ourselves, or we can lean into our heart and strength and become stronger, forge ourselves more deeply, and really accept the transformation and the next level that will take us to. So when we're talking about a karmic lesson, whatever this is that you've been managing, it has not been easy. And so well done, first of all, pile number one. And let's look at now what's coming in. First of all, you have both the moon and the sun, right? So this is your self and your heart. You have the Emperor. So this is really managing your own everything, right? Not just, this is not just the internal, right? This is managing your own internal state based on your ideas and the transformation that has ensued. But this is really creating your own internal and external state in response to this new awareness. This is about having all of your cups full and being really in focus, right? Not even looking back, because this page of swords comes in and says, no, we don't do that anymore. So sorry. And the Queen of Swords, with this sword of truth, right, she is utilizing this sword now. This is her embodiment. So, right, we have these two cards coming full circle here. There is no more unknown. There is no more half-life. There is no more pieces and parts, right? This is about following your bliss. This is about having unearthed your own hidden treasure and dug it up and put it to the sword of truth every single time, regardless of the conflict, regardless of what was out there. And again, we talk about Pisces as that sensitization, right? This is what the label on this card says, sensitization. So it's about having taught yourself to listen to your own inner guidance. The way that now you're going to embody that in your life is unequivocally, right, visible and invisible. It's the total, it's the overarching umbrella of the next phase. So this is how you put these lessons into action, right? So this is quite lovely. I see that this is going to be I want to call it a blissful transformation for you towards something bright and beautiful. You know what? I don't even feel a need to pull any. I just don't feel like I need to. Wait, I do. I'm going to grab one for this 5 of Cups. But I also feel like, here's the deal. Like we talked about in the intro. Oh, okay, beautiful. When we're talking about karma and we're talking about the next karmic cycle, your next karmic cycle is how to accept this life of joy that getting rid of the old programming has opened up for you, right? We have the 6 of Pentacles as the modifier for this 5 of Cups. And so 6 of Pentacles is about generosity. It's always about having enough in one hand to feel free to give to someone else. So this is how you share your, not only your journey, pile number 1, right? May I always focus on the highest, right? This is how you witness yourself being in reception. And I mean that energetically and in the physical. How are you in reception of all that this will bring you? And the fact of the matter is, you don't even know yet. You don't even know yet what this is going to bring you. But it's going to be an embodiment, right? That merges your heart and your mind in a way that you have not experienced till now in your life, right? You're going to have to put that into practice. 6 of Pentacles is also about learning and teaching, right? So the way that you're going to really move into the next phase through this one is to be open, right? Certainly you've come through a gauntlet of challenge and you're going to be moving into an experience of ease, but the way that you can put that into the widest usage, right? On the highest, right, is to make sure that you're sharing. You're sharing your knowledge, you're sharing your experience, you're sharing your awareness. Whatever that expression looks like for you, you're going to know it because it's going to feel great. It is going to feel great, and it is going to unearth some things that you didn't even know were there, right? Hidden treasure are those things that we have buried and we don't have access to them because we've got so much junk covering them up. And when we uncover them, we turn that energy over and then we're experiencing things for the first time that we've always had access to, but we didn't have the availability. We didn't have the capacity to connect on that energetic level. And so moving through this drama cycle into this thriving cycle, into this experiencing cycle is going to be quite beautiful, honestly, for you. Pile number 1. Now, when this came in for me this morning, I was directed specifically to the flipping of the year, right? Solstice is coming. I'm recording this at the beginning of December. And so I kind of see this as something that will accompany solstice. However, if this finds you at a different time, take it for what it's worth, right? Take it for whatever it's worth and roll with the information and understand that this message is meant to find you when it finds you. So at any rate, this is beautiful. I applaud you, pile number 1, for the work that you've done. And I wish you nothing but the best on the work that you're about to do. And remember that work is absolutely open to be joyful, just like karma, right? We're not talking about punitive things. We're talking about how we learn and how we move through anything so that we get to the other side. Happy healing. This is beautiful. Pile number 1. I wish you nothing but the best. Please hit the subscribe button so that you can come back and tell me all about this, right? Take care. Big blessings. Hello, pile number 2. Let's talk about your karmic cycles, shall we? I'm very excited. This has been really fun so far. So you start off with perfectionism, right? Permission to make mistakes is so freeing. It's the root of creativity and change. Allow me, divine, to make as many mistakes as I need. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. Now, I love this because we literally talked about this in our intro, about how karma is like a parent, and no parent is going to walk away from their child who is learning to walk and falls down, right? They're going to correct them. They're going to help them. They're going to assist them. They're going to offer them the next part of the lesson. They're going to support them, right? So perfectionism is, it's a nonsensical kind of idea that we come in with, right? So karma is simply the way that we witness our own process. So that's beautiful to have here. Keep your commitments. So, in the Divine Energy Oracle, keeping your commitments is about really exactly what it says. It's about devotion. It's about not jumping the gun. It's about not starting fires and running away, right? It's about how we feel that motivation to learn something, to do something, and then we have to dive in and actually do the work of it, right? Again, sometimes we try a thing and it doesn't work perfectly the first time, and we say, heck with that, I'm out of here. And so the bottom line is, yeah, pulling up the stakes in terms of perfectionism is going to be really helpful. Of course, you have Aries. So Aries is a notorious fire starter, right? Aries is the first sign, the cardinal energy, the inception energy, the way that we create our own motivation, and then how do we have the dedication and devotion to the process to keep moving. So when we're talking about karma as it relates to Aries, it's about action, 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 not always looking at the consequences. So drawing your awareness to the process instead of simply the moment, the fragment of the overarching arc that is karma over time. Oh yeah. Excuse me. So you have trusting your intuition. My life is truly guided, right? So again, we're talking about really witnessing the process as opposed to simply the initiation, the ignition, the spark of, yeah. Beautiful messaging here. So this is really about a totality, right? And trying to not, I literally loathe the terms spiritual bypassing, but I want to apply it like this. This is about not doing half the work, not going halfway, right? What do they say? There's that saying about the first mistake we make is not starting, and the second one is not going all the way, or something like that. So I think that's what you're looking at here, right? A fits and starts kind of progress that really isn't progress that really stopped short of being a full lesson. And so perhaps what's happened is that you're coming up against some consequences, or that you have come up against some consequences as a result of not creating your full the full timeline, right? There's only so much shift and change we can do if we're looking at really creating something in terms of karma, because karma has a directive for us. And here's the deal: it doesn't matter. Karmic time has no stopwatch, right? Karmic time says, well, if you don't do it in this lifetime, guess what? You'll do it in the next one. The question becomes then for you, do you want to keep butting up against the same set of circumstances or the same set of lessons or the same opportunity, right? Or do you want some divergence? Or do you want to level up, right? You can walk around in circles as long as you want to. The universe is going to applaud you. The universe is going to say, well, that's quite a choice, right? And you can keep making that choice. Or you can kind of dive in and figure out what you actually want to do. Yeah, perfectionism, I'm feeling compelled to say sometimes perfectionism is fear, right? Fear of failure. So let's look here. You've got the Four of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, Temperance, the Page of Swords, and the World. So, okay, pile number 2. So you are definitely coming to the point of completion. It's just about how have you been doing that, right? So I think there was some holding back, right? Some fear from taking the first step, from trusting your intuition, from doing what you knew you should do. And I think that there was probably, I'm going to say it this way. I think that there was a person in your life who gave you the inspiration to trust your intuition, to keep a commitment, or someone that was holding you accountable that created a situation that allowed you to move into this phase where you're learning to trust your process, where you're learning that it's okay to try and fail, because we're not really failing. If we learn something, we're always succeeding, right? We either learn or we succeed. There's no failure there, right? So if you try it and you hit up against a wall, or it just doesn't turn out in the way that you had hoped, guess what? You try again, right? Try again. There's no limit on your try it bank. Right? You have plenty of tries in your tank. In fact, this Six of Pentacles next to Temperance is really about learning from every attempt, and then pulling the lesson out of that, right? Having the capacity to stop and assess what went right here. What did I do right, and what can I do better? What did I do right, and what can I do better, right? So Temperance really talks about taking that raw material and creating a synthesis from it, right? It's the way that we blend our knowledge and our experience into wisdom. And again, this is an endless process. It doesn't stop. It never stops. You always have the materials necessary to move through and as your experience. And so this culminating in the World says sometimes the awareness of the process is the totality of the lesson, right? It doesn't matter what we're learning at here, what we're trying at here, what we might keep refining. The awareness of the process is the totality of the lesson. The commitment to the process is the lesson. The rejection of the fact that it has to be perfect is the lesson, right? I get to try as many times as I want. My life is truly guided. I have enough resources to try every single second of every single day. And it doesn't matter because I'm always learning. That might be your lesson, right? That might be the whole karmic lesson. So let's see my little pile number 2, the little engine that could, what's coming in. So as a result of learning this lesson, you have an absolute ton of opportunity. And boy, that is going to feel great, isn't it? Yeah, guess what? It's going to feel amazing. It's going to bring you... Look, opportunity creates opportunity, right? And it's going to move you forward in ways that you can count on effortlessly, right? Oh boy. Pile number 2. Have you got it going on? Woo! Okay, so what's coming next as a result of learning that the lesson is the lesson, right, is this: every door is open to you. You have nothing but boundless energy. You have nothing but that repetitive foundational energy, right? You have discovered your own storage tank of, I don't even want to call it a storage tank. You have discovered the portal within yourself that is the channel for divine energy. That is so much better. Yes, thank you. It is endless, and it is unconditional, and it is always present, right? It is always present. And the bottom line is that you have fused your energy. You have anchored your energy within yourself to that portal. And so there's nothing but endless opportunity. There's nothing but this, I'm going to call it infinite endurance, right? There's actually a joy in the process that you're going to experience, where this might have felt like labor, like, oh my gosh, this is so hard, this is so hard. What happens next is, now that you've accepted this as the process, this as the totality, what happens is that the process becomes joy, right? The process becomes freedom. The process becomes experimentation. The process becomes blessing, right? Boundless energy that you get to put toward creating or learning or expressing or doing or being whatever it is you want, over and over again, right? This is endless faith here, not just in the process, but in everything, in the universe behind the process. So you have two aces. You have the Seven of Cups, which offers you unlimited potential, absolutely unlimited potential, and it's potential that feels great, right? It feels satisfying. There's an endless cup given to you to pour from. There's endless foundation and movement on that foundation given to you, right? Just for keeping your commitments. It doesn't matter how many times you try. It doesn't matter how many fires you want to start. What happens is beautiful, beautiful light as a result. What happens when you trust the universe is that you get nothing but universal gifting, right? And that shows up here. Boy, it shows up everywhere. Wow. Pile number 2. Look, I feel like that's a complete message, right? You know you're fully resourced. You know you can never fail. That sinks in so hard up here, and then you get to apply that to every situation in your life. To everything you try to do, to everything that you want to be, to everything that you could think to create or express in every single way, right? It's just full on blessing as a result of struggling through this lesson, this cycle, you know, of walking in circles. Now all of a sudden there's that click moment and you go, oh, I get it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? This is what I was supposed to be doing all along. Now I get it. And guess what? There's no judgment of what you didn't do before. You had to get there when you got there. So, wow. Wow. Listen up, pile number 2. I want you to right now stop, go down and hit that subscribe button, because I want to hear about this. I want to hear how this manifests in your life. I want to hear what it took to get you where you are right now, because this is amazing. Amazing. Anyway, thanks for listening. The best to you, because wow. And be blessed, right? Hey, pile number 3. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get into your karmic messages, shall we? Yeah, let's just roll here. So you start with self-sufficiency. The ultimate self-sufficiency is relying on God. It doesn't mean hiding in a cave and saying, I don't need people. Instead, it's saying, God is my source, and I am willing to receive all the help, love, and support that wants to come. Wow. Okay, I love that. So that is a lesson all unto itself, right? So let's keep going here and see what else we get. Face your shadow. Uranus. sudden change. And cherishing self. I love and accept myself. So I'm going to say right here, based on this messaging, that you have been on a self journey, right? You've been on that shadow work journey. You've been really uncovering some old programming, or really diving deeply into, interestingly enough, yourself, right? And I think that probably what you've been really working on and learning is that yourself incorporates and includes necessarily all of the parts of yourself, right? It's not just about, and let's be real here, when we talk about cherishing yourself, I accept and love myself, this doesn't mean we're just loving the pretty parts of ourselves. We're just loving the filtered social media acceptable parts of ourself. No, 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 no. In fact, that is a shift and change all to itself, right? We have to love our entire self. We have to love our whole self. We have to love our beingness from great to crazy and everything in between. And I'm air quoting those words, right? We know this. It means recognizing your air quoted demons as yourself. It means recognizing that you are the whole package, and every single bit of you is an expression of the divine, regardless of what you regardless of what you've been led to believe, that your experience is whole, perfect, and complete unto itself every single step of the way. And that when we're talking about karma, we're talking about that Uranian complete and total shift and change, which is, guess what, lovely. And you get to experience it exactly the way that you choose to experience it, which can be really, really scary or really, really exciting, just depending on how you want to call that in, how you want to claim it, how you want to own it, right? And so whatever that means to you and for you and through you, absolutely comes with, I'm going to use the words, with the cost of accepting your whole and total self, right? So let's talk about these cards. So you have the Two of Pentacles, the Star and the World, the Three of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Lovers. Okay, so first of all, we're talking about things that felt like piecing and parting yourself out, right? So any way you felt like you were not in your wholeness, like you weren't in your totality, right? That feels like juggling. When you're trying to protect yourself or someone else from a piece or a part of you, when you feel like you're walking on eggshells, when you feel like you can't be your whole and authentic self, that feels terrible, right? It doesn't mean hiding in a cave and saying, I don't need people, right? Because the bottom line is sometimes when that happens, we do tend to shutter ourselves away from the world. And the only thing that you can do in that instance is either be in denial of yourself, which guess what, feels even worse, or start doing that shadow work, facing your shadow. And that's a beautiful thing. So the Star comes always as renewal, as hope, as optimism, as the promise of wish fulfillment. So I think that you've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work that has culminated in you being able to step out into community, into presence, into relationships. So I think that there was a lot of work that you've been doing behind the scenes that allowed you to bring your face, and I'm saying face as your avatar, right? Your being, your presence out into the world, and create ways to be in relationship, right? I think that what you've done, honestly, is found the places within you that kept you hermited, that kept you silent or quiet, or from being your true and authentic, large, divine self, right? From being in your wholeness, your joy, and your passion. And you've created this opening, is what I'm going to call it. You've created an opening for relationship. And I'm not talking necessarily here about a love relationship, right? The Lover's card really just creates opportunity for divinely blessed relationship. This is about choosing, right? It's about choosing to engage in the things that give you the most yes feeling, right? It's about choosing your life as a reflection of this joy, of this optimism, and rejecting this need to juggle, this need to parse yourself. In fact, this is about how you create yourself within your spectrum, right? How you witness yourself as the placeholder within the whole entire spectrum that you are. This is about saying yes to joy, saying yes to life again. So whatever this cave is that you've been living in, whatever it required you to face, I bet there was a sudden, jarring, jolting, all of a sudden light switch that went, what am I doing? What have I been doing here, right? I'm not going to do this anymore. In fact, I never needed to do it to begin with. I've just been struggling against my own freedom, my own self-cherishing, right? I have a girlfriend who that was her driver when she called in her relationship. She said, I want to feel cherished. And that was her guidance for her entire relationship. So how beautiful is that, right? Who doesn't want to feel cherished? Honestly, let's be real. So what is coming for you? So you get the King of Pentacles. You got another king down here. You have another 3. There's been a lot of 3s in these readings today. So the 3 of Pentacles, the 2 of Wands, quite beautiful, right? I love the 2 of Wands. This is really about what's coming next. Knight of Wands. You got a lot of big, hot, passionate, inspired movements coming on your behalf. Pile number 3, which I love. Woo, the Ace of Wands. Look, it's coming in hot for you guys. And Judgment. Okay, so lovely. So lovely. So having created this foundation for feeling confident enough, that's not the right word, feeling embodied enough and secure enough in your own self, right? Having done this work to create yourself as enough, right? This worth work that you did over here, conjuring it in so that you feel like you're at a place where you want to open up your life to community and love and relationship. Here's what's coming. Oh, it's hot. Here's what's coming. A whole lot of wands, right? So the King of Pentacles. So you're going to conjure someone stable. And again, I'm not speaking strictly in a love relationship sense. It might be, but it also might be in the people you surround yourself in, a community that you become a part of, a job that you want, a career that launches you but puts you in the public eye, right? That calls you to be in public, to be seen, to be witnessed, to be heard. All of those things is really what I'm talking about. You've been preparing for your own self to withstand the powers of public scrutiny, of another's scrutiny, right? You've done the work to get confident enough and secure enough and to feel valuable and to understand that you are enough to put yourself out into the world, right? Change. It's change. And remember that Uranus is the sign of community, right? This is how we fit into a group. This is how we take our actualized self and put it into action for the collective. I love Uranian energy. I am an Aquarius rising. I can't help it. It's just what I dig. Anyway, so this is stability, right? This is someone who's willing to partner or share or build with you, right? So whether this is a group, an idea, or a love interest doesn't really matter. It's just the energy that's coming in. This Three of Pentacles says, yes, it's about collaborating. It's about building foundations and also really choosing the way that you're going to move through the world from here on out. And whatever it is, the answer is that it's always going to be created and rooted in your heart. Right? This is your passion. This is your inspiration. This is the juice of your life. This is the way that you choose. I'm not going to just stay in bed today. I have a reason to put my feet on the ground and move. And all of these wands are those reasons. It's been seeding itself in your energy, right? It's been seeding itself. You know where you want to go. You know why you want to go there, and you actually know how to get there. Guess what? You already know. You have the resources coming, the people, the groups, whatever it is coming. If it's financing you need, you have it coming. You have done this work so that this is going to be the simple part. This is going to be the easy part. And guess what? It's going to sustain itself because you're going to love it so much that there's no question, right? You have really created the power of manifestation, not just within yourself, but externally as well, right? So that's beautiful. And you also here have the Judgment card. And so let's talk about what that means here and underneath this Lover's card, right? Judgment is about really witnessing your entire arc. And when we're talking about a karmic lesson like this lesson, right, where this has been about self-actualization and self-acceptance and really claiming and owning your self-worth so that you can put yourself into action for the collective, right? Right? So that you're saying, I am willing to receive all the help, love, and support that wants to come. Well, guess what? It was always there. You just weren't tuned to it. So this karmic cycle has been about retuning your own frequency to be in that widest reception of really cherishing yourself and facing all the reasons that you weren't in alignment, that you weren't open to whatever this is. Pile number 3. Holy cow, it's going to be amazing. But this Judgment is really about, again, divine awareness, right? This is about, this isn't just a me thing. Like, this is not, I did all this work just so I can create whatever this is and I can be happy. I can have a great relationship. I can get rich. I can change the world. Those are great things. But this is about doing it in alignment with your highest and best, right? You've got the Star, you've got the World, you have the Ace of Wands, you have 2 Kings, the Lovers, and Judgment. This is your highest mission, right? So this work you've been doing, please understand that it wasn't just work for your own glorification. It was for the service to yourself so that you can put your heart and soul into action and create the change that you want to change in the world, right? You're going to have the resources, you're going to have the help, you're going to have the support, you're going to have the assistance. That goes without saying. But what it's bringing to you in your next karmic lesson is the opportunity to fulfill those things that create that, let's call it, the way that you get to plug in to higher energy here. Having done this work, you get to plug into the highest sourcing, right? You get to channel for everyone, right? This tells me the 3D, it's handled, right? This tells me you get to leap into kind of like this quantum level of what it is that you're going to do next, and that it's going to be in beautiful service because you chose to do this work, because you chose to witness your karma as a pathway, and because you chose to acknowledge your karma as your lesson, your learning, the way that you want to tune into yourself and the things that were necessary to face. Right? Give yourself credit for where you've been. Give yourself credit for the work you had to do to get here, to call in all of these blessings. This wasn't just a thing where it was like, well, okay, I'm just going to do this little affirmation. I love myself. I love myself. I'm enough. I'm enough. Guess what? Those do work on your frequency, but the whole package of self-worth work is work. And don't let anybody tell you that it's just walking in the woods and having a nice bath. It's not, right? It is juggling. It's labor. It's real world work in order to step from this juggle to, oh, I see. I understand the karmic purposing of this, right? And I see how it opens the door to what comes next. Well, here you are at the door of what comes next. Don't forget that there's going to be a next level, right? As you do this work, make sure that you're aware that you're grateful. Make sure that you're aware that you're always coming back to your alignment. Make sure that your highest and best is always in your focus, is always the thing that you're looking for. Everything will be given to you. Everything is already given to you. Everything has been given to you. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to put it into action, right? Into action. This was self-work. Self-work is not necessarily quiet work, but it's self-work, right? It happens inside you. What happens next for you is out. It's in the world. It's big. It's visible. It asks you to step into the next level of yourself. And you're ready to do it. You're ready to do it, pile number 3. Now, I want you to stop. I want you to hit that subscribe button because I want you to come back and tell me what it is you're doing. I'm so interested. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best. And I bless your karma, right? This is beautiful. I love this. I love this for you guys. So, yeah, thanks for being here. And as always, be blessed. Take care.